Alrighty, hey traders. Today, for you, stop day trading. Stop day trading. Stop short-term trading. It's going to destroy, it's going to ruin your life. That's exactly what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about my story about day trading and the thing that really switched it around for me to give me actual freedom, a bit more freedom in life and more income at the end of the day. And so, if you are down the path of going down the day trading path, short-term trading, it's just not worth it, right guys? It's just not worth it. And so I want to explain to you why in this video. Now, naturally, most people who are just entering this field, probably for the last few years, maybe even last 5 years or more, right? Most people who do this, which I did as well too when I first started trading, right? We go down the path of looking for that, those shorter term moves. Here's the thing, right? Now, a lot of the times there's this big attraction to a wrong thinking. There's a big attraction to wrong thinking. There's a big attraction to one of the biggest misbeliefs out there when it comes to the markets. And what is that? Most people, when they enter the markets, a lot of people that they enter the markets in a way of saying, I no longer want this anymore, meaning my job, and what I want is I want to replace my job income with my trading income because I want to trade for a living. That's my job. I want to trade. So, let me explain something to you here. Most people are chasing that, and it's the wrong way to go. And it's why most people a lot of traders destroy themselves. Day trading is one of those. The reason why you're day trading, the reason why you're looking at those shorter term charts, or even trying to get like an income every single week, that is the wrong thinking out there. And there's this big move towards these lower time frames, right? The 5-minute charts, the 15-minute charts, the daily. And even if you're looking at daily charts, you're looking at how do I make a profit in the next couple of days? These short-term movements. And it is the wrong thing to do, right? It's the wrong thing to do, and it's going to destroy you. Now let me explain something here. I take you from a 10,000 foot view. And most people don't realize, but how they're approaching the market, it's not even true. That's wrong thinking. So then no wonder they keep hitting up against a brick wall. Hear me out here, okay? When it comes to the markets, the markets go through seasons, right? They go through seasons where there's a lot of activity, things are moving, there's a lot of momentum, right? So that's when you should be trading. And then, or AKA, there starts to become some really nice setups. But then also, what ends up happening is isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? But then also what happens is what? It goes through a quiet season where there's actually not a lot of trades. And whether you're trading a 5-minute chart or an hourly chart, you're going to go through those quiet seasons. Meaning, there might not be a trade for a couple of weeks. Sometimes there might not be a trade for a whole month, even if you are trading the lower time frames. And so because of this, one thing that, again, people believe that they can generate an income every single week from the markets is the biggest flawed thing out there on the planet and stopping you. Now, most traders don't understand that. Most traders who don't understand what I just said there, they think it's true. Maybe they saw some crap on the internet or whatever, right? Some things that are just not right. Okay, they saw that, make $1,500 a day or $1,000 a week or whatever, right? All that sort of stuff. It's simply not true. It is simply not true. And because as you know, through the year, you're going to go through these seasons of quietness and so on and so forth. Right? Now, the reason why that's a big issue is because of this. Most traders who go into day trading are trying to do that. They're trying, I earn $1,000 a week right now at Drop. So if I could earn $1,000 a week from day trading, that's it, I'm set, I'm good to go, right? That's the whole pass there. But what ends up happening is that the week or 2 or 3 weeks, when there's not a lot of good setups, what do you do at that time? Right? You do what? You get impatient. Oh my goodness, my goal was to make $1,000 this week. And oh my goodness, I haven't had a trade in 2 days. Oh my god. And you start to just lower your standard. You start to take some bullshit in the market when you know you shouldn't. And then you start to have these losses when you know you shouldn't. And before you know it, you're going down the path and eventually you have this very big catastrophic loss, right? And you end up going through this yo-yoing period, right? You do really well for a while and then you don't do really well. You do really well for a while. That's because you got to understand the seasons of trading, right? No matter whether it's day trading or even just swing trading like me. And so because of that, and again, like how I'm talking to you like this, because I went through this process and I had to come to this realization for so long, right? I had to come to this realization about this. And so here's the thing. Isn't that gorgeous, that sun? Woo! Look at that sun. Anyway, so here's the thing, right? When you are down that path, there's a few things here that is completely flawed, and the reason why it's the worst thing out there, it's going to destroy you. First thing, you end up sitting in front of the screen and consuming every single hour looking at these charts. What's the 5-minute chart doing? Did I miss a trade? Is there a trade there? And you bring up your phone, you look at the chart, and you go down this path, right? First thing. That's the first thing. No freedom, right? You just took a 9-to-5 job and turned it into a 24-hour job. Wake up, check the markets, go to bed, check the markets during the day, check the markets, lunchtime, check the markets. Check. Right? It becomes an overall consuming thing. First thing. Right? Second thing is you end up being in a situation where a lot of the times it's this small profits. Right? And then what ends up happening? Big losses. You may do really well for a few weeks, but then you end up going backwards. Do really well for a few weeks or maybe for a few months, and then end up going backwards. Right? Second thing. Third thing. Right? What was the third thing? First thing was it consumes you, no freedom. Second thing was small profits, big losses. Yes. And the third thing, I forget what the third thing, but let's just keep it at that there, right? Third thing, yeah. Third thing is that then you end up causing a lot of stress in your life. You stress a lot. So this is what happened to me. My story. My story is this. When I first started to get involved with the markets, I started learning trading a lot, right? The art of technical analysis, support, resistance, trend lines, trend analysis, highs, lows, the RSI, the stochastics. I started learning that sort of stuff. And then I started going down the path of day trading, meaning intraday trading. Because I thought if I could have a lot of trades every week, I could make a lot of money. That is the biggest myth out there on the planet. You guys know that, right? If you've ever been down that path, more trades equals more mistakes, equals bigger losses, equals getting in the wrong time, and you end up blowing your account up. No, I've never done really well out of trading like that, right? Because everything we talked about before. So I went down the path of thinking, oh my goodness, this is so good. I can look in front of the charts, I can sit in front of the screen, I can be there 6-8 hours a day, I can make all this money, I can have all these opportunities, and here we go. Wrong. It was the worst thing on the planet. Because what ends up happening, even if you are disciplined when you have some sort of an edge, which most of you guys are not, it's one of the reasons why you're not doing really well at trading, is you go to the market, you don't even know what you're looking for. So you're on the back foot, let me just see what it looks like. That's not being professional, by the way, guys. You want to make good money in the markets? Let's be professional. If you're going to the markets today and you don't even know what you're looking for, let me just guess. Let me just hope gold. Let me just hope gold goes up, or let me just hope that's not good, right? So, and I'm just saying right now, if you actually want to do really well, you want to be part of the 1% of people who actually do really well at trading, they all have some sort of edge, which simply means you go to the chart and you have a pattern in your mind of what you're looking for. That's the foundation of your success. Anyway, back to my story. So I was down here and do all that sort of stuff. Trading sometimes 8, sometimes 10 hours a day, looking at the 1 minute charts, the 2 minute charts, the 5 minute charts. I even went down as low as a 44 transaction chart, 44 tick chart, 44 tick chart, which is a transaction chart. And the transaction chart simply means that this is on the E-mini S&P 500, by the way, the E-mini markets, the futures markets. One transaction could be 5 contracts, the other transaction could be 10 contracts, the other transaction could be, 100 contracts, right? But whatever, 44, I don't know why I chose 44. I was one of the markets that I was actually trading there. So long and behold, what ended up happening? I struggled so much. And the reason why I struggled so much was a few things. One, I didn't understand that this is the nature here. Secondly, when I did take a trade, when I eventually took a good trade, it was a small profit. I'm like, oh, this is hopeless, man. Right? This is hopeless. Right? I put in $1,000 trade and I'd make $100. Yippee doo day. Right? Or I put in a $5,000 trade and I make $500. I'm like, but then the next trade would be lost and so on and so forth, right? So going down this path, I didn't understand any of this. And so going down this path of short-term trading, active trading, what ended up happening was I would never get ahead. I'd do really well, then I'd blow my account up. Do really well and blow my account up. Do really well and blow my account up. All this sort of stuff all the time. Because of that, I was stressed. I was fighting with my wife all the time. At the time, I was fighting with her all the time. And I got so much stressed and I did so much dumbass bullshit in the markets by these short-term swings and trying to short-term scalp all this, get lots of trades. I found myself blowing up accounts. I found myself $250,000 in debt from borrowing money from a friend. And thirdly, I end up getting cancer. I end up having stage 3 lymphatic cancer at the time. This is way back ago. If you actually type in YouTube John Howell cancer, I'm pretty sure my videos are still on there. You'll be able to see me when I actually had the cancer, so on and so forth from there. So anyway, so this whole thing completely just took me down this path. And I'll say my first 5 years of trading, right? My first 5 years of trading. So that was my path there. But I just didn't understand the path. I didn't really understand, like, what am I doing wrong? Make sense? So now what I do is the way that I trade now, the way that I get involved with the markets now is so much better, right? It's called swing trading. Here's what I have found with swing trading, right? I have found that there's not a lot of opportunities throughout the year, but I don't need it, right? Because I could do for example, I can do a $20,000 trade in the markets these days, right? That's $20,000 margin, $20,000 investment in the markets. And over a couple month period, utilizing things like options, right? I can then, if that thing runs on, I can pick up a good 2, maybe 300% return on that trade sometimes, right? So I've had a trade within, I think it was 6 weeks, make 300% return. So that $20,000 investment that I did, and I just gave it time and allowed it to go through the markets, not just day trading and short-term trading, but gave it time. That trade now makes me 60 grand. There's another trade there, 250%, right? And so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying here, right? And long and behold, before you know it, it didn't take me too long to start to hit that 6-figure consistently every single year. Make sense? But until this time, I had no idea. And day trading absolutely just was the wrong path. Now what I have found is over the long haul, I look at the markets a couple of hours per day now. One, utilizing things like options, and also time in the markets, allowing the swing to actually happen. Now you need to know what you're looking for, right? If you go to johnsfreetraining.com, that's johnsfreetraining.com, that's a webinar. I'll teach you what I'm looking for, right? So you need to know what you're looking for. But power of what I look for, the art of having the swing there to potentially bring up 100%, 200%, 300%, I can start picking up 20, 40, 50, sometimes $100,000 in profits in a trade over the course of a couple of months, if it does have a big move, that is, of course. And before you know it, when I do have my losses, now I'm having small losses, I'm having big profits. I'm looking at the markets a couple of hours per day, and because throughout the year, I'm actually having these chunks of time, not consistently, right? There might be chunks of time throughout the year where I get these really big profits, and I'm making a lot more money now. And guess what? I'm only looking at the markets a couple of hours per day. See how that works? And it's so less stressful, right? Like I'm in 2 trades right now. And collectively, there are 2 trades right now, and collectively, they're around about 200% return. But do you see what I'm saying? But to find and trade and manage those, it only takes me about an hour or so per day. And then the rest of the day, I can now have freedom to actually take care of myself. Fitness, family, friends, all this other stuff that really does matter to the soul, right? So, I hope my whole goal around this video here today was to try to guide you down that a lot of the times our thinking is actually incorrect around the markets. And because we're going into the markets trying to replace our income. But one thing I found, if I can look at my income of a 12-month period and trade like this, and not look to make money, not look to trade every week, right? And be okay with, like, sometimes there's a month or 2 where there's no trades for me, which actually was the first 3-4 months of this year was pretty flat actually. And then around May this year to now, my goodness, has been like so many incredible trades, right? I had Groupon 300%, Platinum 250%, Ethereum was about 400% return on my risk there. I'm in 2 trades right now, collectively around about 200% return. You see what I'm saying? Now these trades I'm in right now, that 200% return right now, I've been in them for over about 6 weeks now. But do you see what I'm saying here? And so this whole foundation here, I've really found the sweet spot of swing trading and having freedom to do the other stuff that I want in life. Well, because that's around freedom, right? And going down the day trading path, that's, you end up not doing that. Make sense? You end up not going down that path and not having that process there. So my goal for you guys here is this. I'm trying to get you to understand that if we can think just more like on a yearly basis and trying to have these pockets of opportunities where we can let our, now it takes training, right? It takes training to identify the trades, to be able to get into the trades, and to be able to have good trade management. What do you use for trade management? How do you actually let the profits run, cut your losses short? That's the reason why I do coaching, right? If you go to getjohnshelp.com, that's an application for my coaching program. But obviously there's a stair step, but I'm trying to give you a 10,000 foot view here now of how it is possible to get ahead in the markets, but it's not what you think. It's not weekly or monthly income. It's more like a yearly basis. If you can see that, chunks of time throughout the year can actually just absolutely just do really well for you.